You guys had a good session. Sorry, I missed the morning session because of the everyday work of managing media. And you guys have just developed my strategic plan, my communication strategy for the ministry. That feedback is what I needed to do my strategy. At the ministry we oversee all the sagas. So all those crises that happens in the sagas, from NEMA, Kenya Forest Service, KMD, at some point end up on my desk. So I'm working on a communication strategy that takes care of the entire sector. So I will be looking forward to the rapporteur's report because that really makes the basis for what I need to include in that communication strategy. But there are very critical things that you have said for the short period I've been here that I need to speak to, being in this space, and also having managed media, government media relations in this country for a while. I have seen things, and because this is a safe space, I'll share some of the experiences I've had and why I am happy that we're having this conversation for the environment sector. Let me start over the ministry. And I want to share some of my pain points. And as we go on with these trainings, I want you also to be partners in helping me sort out some of these issues. Kenya Met and climate information, interpreting the reports. Kenya Met is a department within the ministry. Sometimes it looks like it's independent, but it's not. So it's one of the things that I'm struggling with as head of public communications in that ministry. How do we make their reports to make more meaning for the Kenyan public? Yeah? Remember the embarrassment we suffered in El Nino. We were right, but the credibility levels are so low that sometimes when the reports are so crystal clear, they are in doubt. So I think this series of training, and many more that will work with other partners in GSL and everyone else, should be able to, because it's critical for climate reporting. Weather reports are critical for climate reporting. And unless you get it right and everybody else is able to understand, because if, as a journalist, you're not able to understand a weather report, then the public will not be able to understand it. It affects all sectors, really, agriculture, health, everything else that happens. So that's an area that I want us to reason together, and by the end of this training, series of trainings, we must have a process that works. We are engaged with Dr. Gikungu and the team at KenyaNet. Anything that we need to do to make that a success, let's do it. Making the ministry a lot more accessible, I think I agree with all of you. There are too many scientists. There are so many scientists like Prof. Daktari. Some of them will share, but there's so much information. And the PS was telling me this morning that there's a whole unit, and I'm sure he mentioned there's a whole unit in CCD that just collects and keeps information that needs to be accessible to media houses. So we are trying to make the ministry and the science and everything else as accessible as possible. And we've started something called thought leadership. Thought leadership is putting together all our expertise, so that when you need someone, I know who to send to you. I'm trying to break that government bureaucracy where I have to get PS's approval to get Pacifica to go to a TV station, or to get Linda to go and speak about you there. All those things. And I just build their capacity so that they can speak about these things with a lot of confidence, the likes of whom, you guys have been in this, so you know the people you need for these events. Of course, the issue of jargon glossary, that one we can work together, and all those other emerging issues, including FLOCA and all those things. Those ones don't give you much trouble. There's also the issue of pre-conferences, road to COP. I think that is critical, and I think we started with the SES, and I think for this year as well, I want to promise that we will work on a pre-COP Helen said, there are 2 COPs this year. 2 COPs or 3? 2. 16 and 29. The 21 one is the big one. So we may organize with the KEGO or any other partner a pre-COP so that we can bring here Pacifica and her entire team to tell us what they are looking at in mitigation, what they are looking at in climate finance, what they are looking at in adaptation and all those areas. So that I think I can confirm if I'll still be in this ministry, we will do something. We come into one room and discuss so that when you're going to COP, for those that will be lucky to go, you know where to follow. As Ruth was saying, it's a marketplace, so really you need to find a stream to follow. Climate influencers. I'm a little bit old school. I know that, and I think that's an area we need to work on together. Can we have climate influencers really? Right? I'm still a little resistant to that, but we can work on something, and we can. It's a new area. I've seen podcasts have really picked up in this kind. I think the future of broadcast is in podcasts. And so even for climate change, if someone can come up with that solution and say it was at the ministry, we'll be very happy. We may not do it as a ministry, but if you as a media person, I know a friend at Nation is trying to do it. What is his name? Your colleague Helen, what is his name? Lidibu is trying to come up with something. So we will support it. And be able to sort it out. Really, in the Ministry of Environment is also, I've had baptism of fire. I haven't been here long enough, but I have dealt with many things. And so it tells you the scope. When I first came in, there was baobabs. People were selling their baobabs at the coast for 100,000. There was nothing illegal about it, but it was just immoral. That you uproot a whole baobab for 100,000. We stopped it. They continued, but they have stopped again. So there are things that I will always look up to the media to assist me or to assist the ministry. And this for us is critical because I know the people and I speak to most of you. So I'm happy that you always come through for me. This morning I was struggling to get let me give you why I was late. This morning, we went to Ololua. How many people come from that area? Ololua Forest. And you must have seen there was a whole concrete wall. Almost 66 acres. Someone had actually fenced. So I took my minister to break the wall. Yeah, we just brought down that wall. So, and on such notice, you call newsroom and you need a camera person. Someone to do that. So if I know my climate people there, you will understand why we need to break that wall more than a political reporter, and you will know the story to look out for. Fellowships and training, I think, as a ministry, I think that is critical. As I said yesterday, if you need support and you think that the Ministry of Environment will unlock something for you, let's work together. Let me speak about 2 other things that may be beyond my pay grade, but because I've done this for a while, something about government media relations and how it affects climate reporting. It generally affects all sectors. We are in a very bad space. Let me not lie to you. Right? Government is mistreating media. Big time. And it's not me. For the veterans who's been in this business for a while, you know that this nonsense started during World War I. Yeah? It has persisted with GAA and all those things. And now it's getting even worse because now our colleagues in the newsroom are struggling. Not because of their own making, but because of this, misplaced bravado and, flexing of muscles and that kind of thing. But because I managed media for Uhuru for close to 5 years, I know the mind of a politician. The relationship between the media and politics is very complicated. The president will say, media is useless, Nyakufunga Nyama, but still wants that story to be carried by media. So it's not that they hate media, but at some point they will have lunch with media owners at State House and will say, but your people are mistreating us and someone will go with it. So this happens usually in the first term. In the second term, things will turn around and it will be good. But for us in the environment, we have decided, and this is a lesson I took, that, let them fight at the top. If we have some small cake, we will share across. And Ken will attest that when we had the town halls, at least all media houses had an opportunity, at least the big ones, except one that said we were giving very little money. Now that is where we're going to next. We will try as much as possible to make sure that the cake now spreads to everyone. So that, because environment is such that we cannot leave anyone behind. In politics you can survive, but in environment you need everybody, you need everybody on board. Number two is the sensationalization of environmental stories. Really, it's, some of us are becoming notorious. We were at COP, and there was a whole headline about Kenyan delegation. And I asked journalists who were there, they were even more than the ministry staff. They said, you also are being counted as being part of the Kenyan delegation. Really, it did help matters. It is good to sensationalize, but environment, we operate in a different space. So in as much as we have to serve, let us also stick with the facts, because once you sensationalize an environment story, then meaning, because it's seen as politics as opposed to being what it is. So as I said yesterday, my role in this journey will be just to backstop and share my knowledge and make sure that whatever that is going on, that whatever feedback that you're getting informs ongoing processes. For example, and I want you to be keen with this, we are in the process of pushing through the Kenya Meteorological Act, the bill. I don't know how many of you are following it, because we feel if Kenya Met is left on its own without the control of the ministry, they'll be able to get more partnerships, reform themselves, get themselves better technologies without the bureaucracy of national government.